Meetings Act by posting written notice and agenda of this meeting on the bulletin board in the Municipal Building, 1000 Route 10, Township of Hanover, by hand delivering, mailing, or faxing such notice and agenda to the following newspapers: Morris County's Daily Record, the Star Ledger, Hanover Eagle, and by filing same with the Township Clerk. Have a roll call, please.
Committeeman Gallagher.
Here.
Committeeman Firmosca.
Here.
Committeeman Bruno.
Here.
Committeeman Capola.
Here.
And Mayor Francioli.
Here.
5 members in attendance, sir.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, would you all please rise, those that can, and join me in a pledge of allegiance to our flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Before we begin the formal portion of the meeting and open it to the public, which we'll do shortly, we have an honor, a very nice honor tonight on behalf of the Township Committee for a presentation. And Bob, this is a presentation from all of us on the Township Committee who appreciate all of the years, 51 plus years of service that you have given to our community and to our township. You and I have worked together countless of those years. You outmeasure me by about 20 of those years. I say with a fondness because we didn't give all this time and effort because we didn't like what we were doing. We did it because we wanted a better community for you, all of us. And if you measured it in hours and you got paid a nickel an hour, you'd probably be a millionaire by now. There's no question about that, and it's true. Give so much of their time to the township. But we truly had lots of discussions, and we do truly want to honor you for all of the years of service. You've served in just about every committee inside this township, including mayor, sat right here as well, so you know the responsibilities that were involved. But you served well on our open space committee. You fought very hard. You're dedicated to seeing more open space for this community. I'll use my cute little joke when I used to talk to Lenny about returning the town to dirt roads and teepees, but I know you tried hard to get us there too. But you know what? We work toward the center, and we work toward a good community, and we've got a balance in the community. I think that what you've accomplished over the years has set trend and pace for what we're doing now, going back to the Bee Meadow Pool when that began, and all of the efforts serving with Phil Godfrey. God bless you. I served with him too. But we all had wonderful, good moments and accomplishments. Shortly, we're going to hand you this beautiful plaque here with that cost us a lot of money, with a lot of brass on it, and I know you're going to appreciate it. I truly do. If there's any other members of the Township Committee that would like to comment, I'll certainly invite that at this point. So, Deputy Mayor, John? You know,
outside of Town Hall, Mr. Steiger has also been a very active member of the Hanover community. Bob has had the distinction, having previously served as a leader in our seniors club. He served as president. Bob is also a very active member and a contributor to his church, Notre Dame of Mount Carmel, where he has been a leader and a key member of a group called Christ Helpers and serving others throughout the Hanover community. He's an active member of the Knights of Columbus as well. Bob has served as a member of the Morris County Republican Committee for many years for his district. Bob, I know, is an ardent environmentalist, and he has championed numerous environmental causes within our township, and I give him credit being an active supporter as well for championing the needs of special needs people within Hanover Township, and for that, I personally thank him.
Ron, would you like to say a few words?
Tom, sure. Go ahead.
I'd like to say thank you very much to Bob Steiger.
Don't get a big head over this, Bob. Just listen.
Bob, here you go.
Go ahead.
I personally like Bob a lot.
Gets there, Ron, don't worry.
I personally like Bob a lot. I'm proud to call him my friend. I respect him. I believe friendship and respect is earned. I appreciate everything he did for Hanover Township. I appreciate the time I've served with him on the Environmental Commission and the Green Team. And Bob also has taken the time many times to talk to me about Township Committee service. And even when I was on the Board of Ed, I had some very good conversations with Bob. I think people that give of themselves to make other people better off is a beautiful thing. And Bob, I appreciate everything you've done, and thank you very much for being here tonight. It means a lot to me.
Very nicely said. Thank you, Lisa. Gentlemen?
Yeah, I guess, Bob, you've always been my mentor, I guess, since I can remember when I first ran on a committee. And I always use your phrase and your comments whenever people say to me, why are you building this and why are you building this? And I always say, Bob Steiger taught me, right from the beginning, if it's zoned for a specific use, you cannot deny it, okay? And I remember that in the planning board classes, and I just thought that, anytime I needed some information to be a sounding board, you're always there, both yourself and Dot. I know that, the big part of your life is not with you. She's with her eternal family in heaven right now. But, I always appreciate your friendship. I know your involvement with the Knights of Columbus, yourself, Jimmy, as well as the church. And, you continue to take more and more responsibilities. And, you've always been there for a lot of people. I see there now that I'm part of the senior club, attending their meetings. Now I see Bob Steiger doing bingo. That in itself has got to be quite an achievement. When they're doing bingos with seniors, it's not easy, okay? Especially if you go too slow or too fast, But anyway, Bob, I want to congratulate you and say thank you. Thank you for all you've given to the community. I always say Hanover Township is what it is today because of the base that was established by folks like yourself. People that were in office long before me, before members of this governing body right now. You're the ones who set the base. You're the ones why we're debt-free. You're the ones why there's a lot of things, the aesthetics. I'll go back to the pool and say, who had the vision to do that as beautiful as that pool is right now? Okay, I mean, it's gorgeous. The ambiance, you couldn't buy it, but yet somebody had the vision to do something like that. And for that, you've given a lot to the community, and I think you deserve a lot more recognition. I wish there was even more they could do, but you deserve it, Bob, and I thank you for all you've done, but I thank you for being my friend.
Thank you.
Very nice.
I had a lot of help over the years. We had some wonderful people, Art Albon, Pete Skrull, and Mike Sorka, Ariana Cohn. We had a base to work from it with the best of
But
the
you
world.
set the base, and that's where we're just building on that,
Right.
okay?
So I'm the only one standing in between Mr. Steiger and receiving his beautiful plaque, so I'll
think so.
make this brief. But 51 years, I mean, when you think about it, it's just incredible that somebody dedicated themselves to being a public servant for that amount of time. I'm doing this 5 years, and I still can't wrap my head around doing it for 51. I really commend you, Mr. Steiger, and I know one of your achievements, notable achievements, is getting B Meadow Pool going. It's still a beautiful, thriving, probably one of the nicest community pools in the county, still going to this day, and it probably wouldn't have happened without the effort that you put forth. So on behalf of myself and the whole community, really, not just the Township Committee, but I think you really appreciate volunteerism when you sit on this side of the desk versus sitting out in the audience. It sounds like, well, yeah, he must have put a lot of time in, but you just can't appreciate it until you sit on this side, really, how much time and effort goes into it. And much of it's unnoticed and some of it's thankless, which is why I think it's great that Mr. Steiger's here tonight and he can be recognized for all that he did for Hanover Township. So once again, on behalf of myself and all the residents, thanks so much for the time that you put in.
You're quite welcome. And Doc deserves as much of the credit as I do.
Good point. Good point. You need an understanding wife at home, no question about it. God bless her.
Most definitely. Punctuate on that, that's for sure. Bob, if you allow me, I'm going to read this plaque. And this is to you on the basis of Hanover Township's Distinguished Service Award. It's presented to you in gratitude and appreciation of 51-plus years of dedicated service as the mayor, township committeeman, member of the Board of Recreation Commission, Board of Adjustment, Planning Board, Environmental Commission, Green Team, and Open Space Advisory Committee. And I'm not sure if I missed anything.
Landmark Commission, but we couldn't fit it in on here, Bob.
This has to go back. We'll have to edge that on. And it's presented by the Township Committee, and it's from truly all our hearts for 51 years. I don't know, I've served here a long time, you know that. but I don't think I've ever served with anybody beside yourself who put in that kind of dedication and commitment for 51 years.
Sally Anacone was appointed the same year I was.
Was he really?
He's got a year up on me already.
God calls me weekly to give me hell, I'll tell you that. Okay, Bob, come forward, please, and members of the Township Committee.
I didn't come for pallbearers, guys. I came to receive it, I appreciate it, I thank you. And that is very attractive, it really is. If the kids will have it in the dumpster in 6 months.
Oh, God.
Good
God.
After 51 years, I think I have a right to decide who, no, don't take it now.
Oh, my God.
Photo taken with. If Ace and George.
Bob, let him take your
No,
picture.
if Ace and George would accompany me, I'd appreciate having you in the picture, if you don't mind. If you'd rather not, you don't have to. Hello, Bill, how are you? Nice to see you too. Thank you. Thank you, George.
Hold on.
Bob, do you want to hold it out so we can?
I'm afraid the light will flash. Are there flashes?
No, I don't know.
No, it should be okay, Bob.
Thanks again. Thank you, gentlemen.
Congratulations, Bob.
I don't make excuses, so I'll just say good night.
Good night.
Night, Bob.
Good night, Bob.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we have an additional proclamation. The administrator will read it. It's for National Autism Awareness Month. We have representatives here from, come forward. They're going to accept this proclamation. Okay. Joe?
Okay, this is a proclamation of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover proclaiming April 2016 as National Autism Awareness Month in Hanover Township and urging all members of the community to become better educated on the subject of autism spectrum disorders. May we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
So approved. And do you want to have a picture, Jerry?
Sure.
So we can take a photograph.
Want to
Absolutely.
present this?
And we thank you. We truly thank you
Here you go.
for what you're doing.
Joe, can you introduce the young lady?
Sure, this is
There
Ms.
you go.
Antoinette
Dominici,
Fivefoot.
Peter, pleasure to meet you,
Peter.
Peter.
Peter is my success.
Thank you for
Thank
doing
you.
what you're doing, Peter. Championing for us.
Turn around, he's going to take some pictures of you right here.
We get some pictures.
Thanks for coming in, Peter. I'm a Giant fan, too.
Go Giants.
Sporting is blue.
I'm very hopeful for next year.
Peter, why don't you come right
There's
in the
always
center
optimism
here?
in the spring.
Right here.
Right in the center.
There you go. Beckham Jr., one-handed catches. Jim, you going to learn to use that thing or what?
Well, I find there's a difference between, we met in East Hanover when you were there.
I'm all over the place.
You are.
Got it, Jim?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, dear.
Thank you.
All the
Hopefully
best.
next year.
Okay.
Yes,
Take
absolutely.
care, son.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you.
very good. Okay, gentlemen, at this point, I'd like a motion to open the meeting to
So
the public.
moved.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the floor is open to the public. Anyone who would like to address the Township Committee at this time can do so from the podium, giving us your name and address for the record. Seeing none.
Motion to close.
Hearing none, motion to close, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Administrator.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, members of the Township Committee, we have a letter of resignation from Darren P. O'Connor, who served as a member of the Township's Open Space Advisory Committee. And because of professional business commitments, Mr. O'Connor will not be able to continue service on the Open Space Advisory Committee. May we have a motion to accept his resignation?
moved.
A
Second.
motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
So approved. Ladies and gentlemen, as we continue with the agenda, we have the approval of the Township Committee minutes, the regular meeting minutes of March 10th, and the bid reception committee meeting of March 15th. May we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
So approved. Ladies and gentlemen, now as we continue, we have two ordinances for consideration of public hearing and adoption this evening. The first is ordinance number 11-2016. This amends and supplements Part 2, entitled General Legislation of the Code of the Township, with the inclusion of a new Chapter 220 to be entitled Retail Business Establishments, Hours of Operation. We have the proof of publication that the ordinance and the notice of introduction appeared in full in the March 16th issue of the Daily Record in accordance with law. Now, at this time, may we have a motion?
Mr. Giorgio, I'd
Yes,
like
sir.
to make a motion, and I'd also like to make a statement concerning ordinance 11-2016.
Certainly, sir. Go right ahead.
The Township of Hanover is a suburban municipality and takes great pride in its suburban quality of life. Despite this, the township has experienced and will continue to experience various development pressures. While the township encourages appropriate development, the township hopes to avoid development that threatens the public health, the safety, the welfare, including its quality of life. One way that these goals can be achieved is by regulating late-night and early morning business operations. Unprotected, understaffed, business establishments are prey to the criminal element in our society during overnight hours. In addition, the overnight operation of businesses near residential properties can have a detrimental and disruptive effect upon the quality of life of our area residents. Despite these concerns, the township also realizes that there can be some public benefit in accommodating overnight operations for certain uses and in certain locations, primarily along State Highway 10, a heavily traveled commercial corridor that serves not only the township, but also the region. By directing overnight operations to appropriate locations, the township can provide reasonable accommodation to the traveling public and address the needs of area residents and businesses. It is for all of these reasons that the Township Committee has proposed the adoption of Ordinance 11-2016. The ordinance will promote the protection of employees, patrons, and law enforcement officers, will help to preserve the suburban character of this community, and in doing so will promote the quality of life of Hanover Township residents.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, may we now have a motion to convene the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone in chambers wishing to be heard concerning ordinance number 11-2016?
Motion to close?
No comment. We have a motion to
Move to
close by the
close.
mayor. We have a second. On roll call to close the public hearing, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Fermaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Franciola.
Aye.
Now, a motion on adoption, be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover, amending and supplementing Part 2, entitled General Legislation of the Code of the Township, with the inclusion of a new Chapter 220 to be entitled Retail Business Establishments, Hours of Operation, be passed on final reading, and that a notice of the final passage of the ordinance be published in the March 30th issue of the Daily Record.
As Director of Planning, I'll make the motion. This was unanimously supported by the Planning Board.
We have a motion for adoption by Mr. Fermaska, seconded by Mr. Gallagher. On roll call for adoption, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Fermaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Franciola.
Aye.
So adopted. Okay, as we continue, ladies and gentlemen, we have the next ordinance for consideration of adoption and public hearing first. And this is ordinance number 12-2016. This authorizes miscellaneous improvements and repairs to the wading pool and main pool at the Bee Meadow Swimming Pool facility, and further appropriates the sum of $50,000 from the Swimming Pool Enterprise Fund capital account for 2016 and all prior years for the financing of the project. We have the proof of publication from the Daily Record that the ordinance and the notice of introduction appeared in full in the March 14th issue of the Daily Record. So at this time, may we have a motion to convene the public hearing?
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Bruno, seconded by Mr. Capola. All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, is there anyone present wishing to be heard concerning ordinance number 12-2016? Seeing none, hearing
Move to
none.
close.
We have a motion to close the public hearing. We have a second.
Second?
Second by Mr. Gallagher. On roll call to close the public hearing. Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Ferramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
Now, on adoption, be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover, authorizing miscellaneous improvements and repairs to the wading pool and main pool at the Bee Meadow Swimming Pool facility, and further appropriating the sum of $50,000 from the Swimming Pool Enterprise Fund capital account for 2016 and all prior years for the financing of the project, be passed on final reading, and that a notice of the final passage of the ordinance be published in the March 30th issue of the Daily Record in accordance with law. May we now have a motion on adoption?
So moved.
So moved by Mr.
Second.
Bruno, seconded by Mr. Capola. Roll call for adoption. Mr. Gallagher.
Joe, can I just make a quick comment on this?
Sure.
I would just like to thank Committeeman Bruno, because we all talk about different passions and all being together as a group, and we all bring our individual vision and passion to the Township Committee. This is perfect, Bob. I appreciate you doing this. Bob's all about the pool. He's all about the kids. He's all about the sports. The absolute best guy to be doing this. And his excitement with all of these improvements, it means a lot to me, because it's our families and our kids. And Bob, I just want to say thanks for giving it 100%.
You're welcome, and having said that, we'll just remind everybody that we are taking registrations for the pool, since Committeeman Gallagher mentions it. These repairs are very substantial, obviously very costly, and we've done a lot over the last couple of years to make it even more family-friendly than it already was, with the addition of a basketball court. We've got a diving board in there now, and lots of great stuff. So if you haven't been to Bee Meadow Pool in a while, we certainly encourage you to take out a membership or even a one-day pass and come over and cool off in those warm summer months. Thank you, Mr. Gallagher.
So, aye?
Do you have a motion for adoption?
Yes.
I think you made the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Ferramaska. On roll call for adoption, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Ferramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So adopted. Trade.
There's that one, yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue, we have two ordinances for introduction, which can be taken as a consent agenda together because they have the same date of public hearing and adoption, and that will be April the 14th. That is ordinance number 13-2016, amending and supplementing section 125-4, entitled Recreation Department Fees, under Chapter 125 of the Code, entitled Fees, with the inclusion of additional pool membership types and fees for the 2016 Bee Meadow Swimming Pool season, and additional fees for various recreation and park administration department programs. And also, ordinance number 14-2016, amending and supplementing Chapter 257 of the Code of the Township, entitled Traffic Control Regulations, by adding a new Article 2 entitled Don't Block the Box. Both ordinances will be considered for public hearing and final passage at the Township Committee meeting on April the 14th, at 8:30 p.m. here in the main meeting room, and at that time, any person wishing to be heard concerning either ordinance will be given the opportunity to be heard. Both ordinances will be published in full in the Daily Record in accordance with law. May we now have a motion on introduction as a consent agenda
So moved.
for ordinance numbers 13 and 14. We have a motion by Mr. Franciulli.
Second.
Second by Mr. Ferrell-Mosca. On roll call, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Ferrell-Mosca.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Franciulli.
Aye.
Now, we'll also take the resolutions as a consent agenda, resolutions 9A through through I. Are there any questions from members of the Township Committee concerning any of the resolutions?
Move they be approved.
We have a motion by Mr. Capola for approval,
Second?
second by Mr. Gallagher. On roll call, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Ferrell-Mosca.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Franciulli.
Aye.
Now, on the last page, we have raffle applications as a consent agenda. The first is bingo application 2914, East Hanover PTA. Raffle application 2915, East Hanover PTA on-premise raffle. Raffle application 2916, East Hanover PTA, a 50/50 on-premise. Raffle application 2917, Mental Health Association of Morris County Incorporated, a 50/50 off-premise. And raffle application 2918, Mental Health Association of Morris County Incorporated, an on-premise raffle. May we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Bruno, seconded by Mr. Capola. On roll call, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Ferrell-Mosca.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Franciulli.
Aye.
So approved. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, that clears the agenda of the administrator, township clerk, and I thank you.
Oh, you have those resolutions here? Okay. All right. Gentlemen, once again, I'd like a motion to open to... I'm sorry.
So moved.
There's, please, George.
Second?
Do you want
Oh, I'm sorry,
recognize
George,
the
you want to
police
make a comment?
officer? Comment about the police officer?
Not until I make my comment.
Okay.
Another time? Okay.
No, when I make my comment.
Okay.
All right. All right, gentlemen, motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Once again, I remind everyone, the floor is open. Anyone would like to address the Township Committee can do so from the podium, giving us your name and address for the record. 4 minutes, Barb.
Oh,
Clock starts now.
how can I sign this? There's not a pen. Didn't you say
I
sign?
apologize, but...
Oh, okay. I just had a question about the
Can you just, Barbara,
resolution.
give us your name and address?
I'm sorry,
for the
Barbara
record?
Ames, 6 Cove Lane.
Thank you.
The endorsing the housing element in the fair share plan, could you just tell me briefly what that's about? It was on your resolution consent agenda.
Yeah,
We did that. How's it, you want to go on that?
Yeah, sure.
What is that resolution about? The
Yeah.
adoption of that from the planning board hearing?
Sure.
All right.
for the past...
I don't know what it is. It just says endorsing the housing element in fair share plan.
Right, okay. It's a response to the court, but John will go into it for you. Go ahead.
For the past 2 years, Hanover Township, like many other townships within this county and throughout the state of New Jersey, has been addressing the court issues related to affordable housing. For those of you who may not be aware of it, Hanover has complied for over 30 years with the Council on Affordable Housing and has addressed affordable housing and has done so in exemplary fashion. Most recently, there was a group that was trying to advocate that numerous municipalities receive allocations as many as 1,000 affordable units, and the only reason that it stopped at 1,000 was because they couldn't give it out a higher number. Now, Hanover wisely has always done a program which we call inclusionary affordable housing, and as a result of inclusionary affording housing, if we were to use that methodology, in order to put up 1,000 affordable housing units, we'd have to build 5,000 units in Hanover Township. So unless we start to double-deck your houses with these units, it's just impossible for us to accomplish that goal. So Hanover went back, went through a study, went through an analysis, and through its analysis came up with a plan, which will be tonight. You've seen that. And that plan, the assessment of that plan, the conclusion of that plan is that our affordable housing obligation from now, I believe, to the year 2025 is closer to what is zero than closer to 1,000. So our township...
Actually, they owe us 9.
Yeah, our township has managed its affordable housing obligations very seriously. We've made the commitment, we've done it wisely, and as a result of it, the assessment indicates that Hanover is in a very good position regarding affordable housing. And it's through the work of this entire group, along with the planning board and the special planners that we brought in.
You're not telling me how many units that is? Is that still, is that public
I told you
information?
close to zero.
Close to zero?
Additional.
Okay,
Incremental affordable housing units of close to zero.
okay, all right.
Preface this, and Barbara's justifiably questioning it.
Sounds a little odd, doesn't it?
This is a response to the court.
Right.
This report followed a procedure of planning board hearing, an open public hearing, which was conducted 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And to my surprise, very little attendance, if any.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know about it.
Well,
Might have
published,
attended, but-
it published. But
Yeah, I know.
that being said, we complied with our hearing, and this report will now go to the court. We have till April 24th?
April 4th.
April 4th, in which to submit our answer to the court, because the court was querying towns like us and saying, if you don't answer, then we're going to presume you're taking 1,000 units. Well, our answer is that we've complied, and as I just mentioned too, it looks like we have over-complied in some cases. So we feel we have a defensible case. That's what it is.
Okay, that's great. I knew that you were going through that process. I didn't know where it had come out. And so congratulations and thank you for however that came about to be. I'm sure it wasn't easy. The only thing I would add is that the HUD, that the COA is all part of the HUD grant. And just as an update to you, the county has appointed a special counsel to look into the issue of HUD regulations that came out in July, which are like this with all of this COA stuff and Together North Jersey and all that stuff. And we had a meeting maybe 6 weeks ago with Larry Cascia, who is, and another attorney from his firm, and they did confirm that, yes, there really are some very grave concerns. If you follow what happened to Westchester County, there is absolutely every justification to be very concerned about this. And the reason I ask is because if you fill out that AFFH, that Affirmative Furthering Fair Housing form, that's what triggers the HUD rules. I'm not familiar enough with municipality what grants you get, but if you get those grants and then you fill in that form and you send off your demographics, then there's a process that triggers, and at some point you could be sued down the line under the False Claims Act for not having met and mitigated all of those barriers.
There's a state or federal
So-
grant that I know of that doesn't have wonderful strings attached to it.
Right,
you know?
yeah. I mean, it's too long to go into. I mean, I'd be glad to have a longer conversation, but the county has looked into, and they are very concerned because they do take some of those grants, and I'm guessing you do too. I'm not really that sure on some of your grants. So thank you for that. The other thing, I would just quickly update you on the freeholder meeting last night. There were 3 kind of big things. The meeting actually went on till 10:15 at night from 7. And number one, they did pass a resolution to begin to explore the option of leasing Morris View. Selling it had been a possibility because you maybe know they're losing increasing amounts of money, revenues are declining, costs are going up. So they did pass a resolution to explore the option of leasing it, not selling it. And that even got the support of a couple of the family members who testified. So that's good news on that. That was kind of quiet. Then they went on to the budget, which is an $11.5 million, I guess $11 million increase in spending this year, which is a 7.5%, a 3.43% increase in taxes.
Was it 3 point, or was it 2?
No, it's now. Okay. Yeah, you saw that too. Yeah.
Yeah,
What
I
they
think-
did is called finagle theorem. The increase is really 3.34%. What they did to get the 2 point whatever it was, 9 or 8 or something, I don't remember, was they decreased open tax by 1/8 of a cent, and so they took that off. But if you look at the line item on the budget, the expenses are going up by 11 million, taxes are going up by 7.5. So what's the difference between the two of those, huh? So,
I don't know how they get under the wire on that.
and over 2 years, the budget has gone up by 23 million. And they did a very interesting thing. They looked back. I don't know whether you guys have ever done this on your budget. They looked back over the last 4 budget years, and when there had been no tax increases, if you recall. So they said, if you look back 4 years, it's really only a 0.5% increase. It's $5 a year. Well, what accounting system allows you to look back over last budgets and amortize that into, or average it into this year? Very creative financing. It really is up 3.43%. No cuts of any sort except for an 8 cent to open space. So that did get some testimony. And then the last thing was the apprenticeship resolution, which we've been keeping you apprised. That discussion went on for an hour, and a lot of interesting information came out. A number of citizens, no members of the union as 2 weeks ago, but a number of citizens who almost all testified in opposition to it. But in the course of the conversation, it came out from the freeholders themselves that the new team, which is running against the 3 incumbents, we're in Trenton on February 28th soliciting the support of unions. And one of the residents read 2 letters. I'm saying this in public because it was public last night at the meeting, but they read 2 letters, one from the Carpenters Union supporting the current freeholder team for re-election, and another letter from the freeholder team saying they'd met with all the unions and that they were supporting, they were wanted to help promote, among other things, an apprenticeship resolution. So that was kind of interesting. It was a subject of a lot of conversation. The public is not happy with this. And someone presented information about, most of all, they had analyzed the public works. They're all union anyway, so what are you doing this for? Well, there's a lot thinking that they took the money, and so this is the quid pro quo. So that will continue, I think, to ignite some concern on the part of the citizens about the nature of Morris County and its governance, and excluding small businesses that frequently don't have these apprenticeships programs from bidding at all, and only 25% of the construction industry is apparently unionized, so that might exclude a fair amount. So that's what went on at the freeholder meeting. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to be heard at this time?
Hi, good evening.
Carol,
Carol Fromchenko, Malapartis Road, Whippany, New Jersey. I probably won't be able to make the April 14th meeting, so if you wouldn't mind, I'd like a little
Carol, pull that
clarification.
microphone right down to you.
I'd like a little clarification on the traffic control regulation,
Sure.
14-2016, about the don't block the box.
Sure.
Can you tell me exactly what's being proposed in this?
What we're proposing, quite honestly, are fines, traffic fines. And I've personally been aggravated by what I see on a daily basis with everybody rushing to get where they want to get, and an additional 25, 30 feet that they can't give up, so they have to block the box. Well, if you continue to block the box after this goes into place, then you're going to pay into our treasury. So that's what this is all about. There will be proper signs posted near the do not block the box signs themselves. We have several areas or locations in the township, including our own police department driveway here. So once again, fair warning that if drivers do block the box, they will be ticketed. They will be ticketed. This gives us the ability to do that. Heretofore, there was no penalty for blocking the box. So that's what that's about.
Will these signs include what the fines are?
Yes.
Yes, it will.
Just like the handicap signs?
Yeah, very similar to what they have on Speedwell Avenue near the Chase Bank.
Oh, I'm never there. Well, you know how this is going to impact our area. I understand it, and I don't disagree with it, but it's just going to be more difficult for us because we could barely squeeze through without having to temporarily block the box
Right.
to get out of the street, and you know that. So I understand it. I don't disagree with it. I'm a little concerned about it, and I just wanted to clarify what it meant. Thank you for your time.
Concerned about the blocking of the box itself, or concerned about the penalties?
Oh, penalties don't help. What we try to do is, when we know that the light's going to change, we try to get into that box so that we could get into the right lane. And because once the cars that are stopped, even if they're not blocking the box, once they know that that light is changing, the creep starts, and it doesn't buy us any time. So, it's almost insult to injury because of the impact the quick check is going to have, and now it was difficult to get out. We requested the box, we did, and that you be proactive and not wait for quick check to put the box in, and for the town to do it, to try to help us. And now, if we do have to do it, we're going to get fined. And
I think the practical application of it, you might want to look. No, seriously, go to Morris Plains, go to where the Chase Bank is, Speedwell Avenue. It works very well. And it's predominantly the way the signs are faced there. It's to control the primary road, which is Speedwell Avenue or 202. It's not Grannis Avenue. So if I were trying to make a left onto Speedwell going north from Grannis Avenue, I don't see any signage that would submit to me that there'd be a penalty for me entering it. But if I'm going north or if I'm going south on Speedwell, that's where all the signs are, and they have a significant amount of signs that are advising people. I travel it regularly, it works. And I don't see conflict of those coming out of Grannis.
I just wish, and I know it's a hypothetical, that somehow that the cars that are going north somehow would, if they could realize that when we're sitting there, waiting there, that if they would just give us the courtesy
3 seconds
of letting us get out before they, race to make
that's why...
I don't know how we could fix that.
That's why this ordinance.
Okay,
Because,
well, the thing is we're going to get fined.
People that travel the same way at most times every day, and they do block the box, they may get ticketed once. I guarantee you they won't get ticketed a second time because they're not going to block the box. But without it, we have no teeth.
No, I know that.
We need enforcement. And this is the enforcement.
But it doesn't give us any teeth either.
So we're hoping that it will.
The dilemma.
We're hoping that the ordinance will change some of our habits
We can only
and the
hope.
way we work.
That's why I schedule everything I do after rush hour in the morning and then before or after rush hour in the evening. It's the only way to survive. Okay, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Carol.
And happy Easter, everyone. Blessed Easter.
Yes, thank you. Anyone else like to be heard at this time? Hearing none?
Motion to close.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, gentlemen, any comment?
Sure.
No, sir?
Okay.
I just have 2 quick ones for tonight. The next Hanover Township Substance Awareness Council meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, April 12th. We have Hanover Township PD and the Morris County Sheriff's Department coming in to educate us, the Substance Awareness Council, and our sports boards, coaches, and our PTAs on drug trends in the area. They're going to discuss alcohol, and it's going to also help us with our new initiative to help educate us adults on the trends and what's going on so we can better form a front line to protect our children. I'm very happy again with Hanover Township PD steering this initiative with us and the Morris County Prosecutor's Office. It should be a really good event. It's at Memorial Junior School. The other event that's coming up is May 13th. It used to be our Hanover Township volleyball game / family picnic. Now it's Hanover Township The Big Night Out. You're going to hear plenty about it. We're going to start promoting it. That's once again going to be Hanover Township working with many, many groups and our fire departments and our police department and the Morris County Sheriff's Department and surrounding municipalities. The last thing I want to say is I put a picture on Facebook today of one of our baseball fields. The DPW have been out in force. Our fields are beautiful. They're ready to go. I posted that it was for baseball and softball, and somebody got in touch and said end soccer. So absolutely end soccer. We have a lot of sports going on right now. I'm sure Committeeman Bruno is going to talk about the big parade that will officially kick off the official season. But I just want to say once again, thank you to Brian and the men. Our fields are beautiful, and they're second to no one. That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. John?
Tonight marks the beginning of what they call the March Madness Sweet 16 of the NCAA basketball tournament. And tonight, I'm happy to announce the Sweet 16 of Hanover's road initiative is well underway, with the first 8 of our roads scheduled to begin as early as the beginning of April. So here's the following 8 roads that will be going through the process of either repaving or reconstruction. Birch Hill Terrace, Beach Terrace, Mount Vernon Way, Troy Road from Algonquin Parkway to the East Hanover border, Malapartis Road from Route 287, the dead-end portion, to the Route 10 dead-end, McNabb Avenue from Slope Drive to Poplar Drive, and reconstruction activity will begin shortly thereafter, probably in May, for Erner Place and Baldwin Court. So there we are, 8 of the 16, and we appreciate all the support of the engineering group and the Township Committee for this initiative.
Thank you, John.
In addition to our Sweet 16,
I thought there was a break in there. Go ahead.
we have April 30th, the end of the month, we have free paper shred day. So mark that on your calendars. You're going to be doing your taxes on April 15th, and you're going to have all of these old confidential papers that you want to dispose of environmentally. So please come out to Employment Horizons on Ridgedale Avenue on Saturday, April 30th, for free paper shred day. Mayor, that concludes my remarks.
Thank you, John. And that is a great service, by the way, on paper shredding. I know, like most of us, I wind up with boxes of things that I'm holding for some opportunity to get them shredded, and this is that opportunity. So, and it does good for Employment Horizons too, which is a wonderful group in our town. George.
Yeah, as you all know, this is going to be quite a transitional year for our police department. We had a sergeant that retired February 1st. Our chief, Stephen Gallagher, retired on March 1st. That put us down 2 police officers. So I'm very happy tonight that the committee has noted in the resolution the hiring of these 2. Now, I don't know if these police officers are here this evening. Are they? Lieutenant Peslich? One is. And you are?
Matthew Rossi.
Okay. Let me just give you, just briefly.
Stand up, Matt.
We have a Stephen Manning, 23-year-old, currently lives with his parents at Freehold. I presume he's going to relocate. He attended Kutz University and graduated in 2014 with a bachelor's in science degree in criminal justice. And his father is a retired New Jersey State Police captain. He graduated from Cape May Police Academy. He is one of few select Class II officers that, based on his performance, has been assigned to perform regular patrol duty and is employed year-round. Stephen is a certified lifeguard, certified in water rescue, and also an Eagle Scout. Matthew Rossi, a 25-year-old male, lives with his wife in Bridgewater, New Jersey. Matthew was a lifelong resident of Hanover Township until his wedding. Matthew attended the College of St. Elizabeth, graduated in December 2010 with a Bachelor of Arts degree in criminal justice. While attending college, Matthew completed an internship with the Hanover Township Police Department. He graduated from Essex County Police Academy in 2012, and also one of few select Class II officers, based on his performance, has been assigned to perform regular patrol duty and is employed year-round. Former member of the Chatham Emergency Squad and EMT, he was nominated by the Hoboken Police Department and a life-saving award recipient from the Morristown Memorial Center. So I'd like to welcome both of these new police officers. I thank Lieutenant Peslich for being here. I've spoke with Captain Waldron, Lieutenant Peslich, and Lieutenant Roddy a number of times. We spoke on different issues. I know that we're also going currently through the exam for our sergeants. We had 14 patrolmen who took the exam. Of them, 6 were selected, and they're currently in the process, and hopefully early on in April, we're going to be into that process to a near completion. I do welcome these 2 new officers. We welcome you. I would also like to comment on Mayor New Jersey has recognized officers Eric Propp, John Schroeder, and Ed Zikowiski. A congratulatory letter was sent to them thanking them for making the difference in saving lives by preventing crashes. And this is from Mayor of New Jersey. So I want to congratulate these 3 officers for the work that they have been doing. Other than that, I want to say I'm happy that we're starting to, we're back up to full force with the patrol officers and the department itself. We're also going through the process of selecting a chief. That is definitely getting to be quite an issue, but I think we're going to work through it pretty nicely within the next couple of 2 to 3 weeks. Other than that, once again, welcome to Hanover Township. We look forward to having you with us and being part of this fine organization. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Welcome aboard. Very good. Bob?
Few things. I just wanted to note the ordinance mentions the substantial investment that the township is making in the pool. In fact, that is self-funded by pool registration fees. So I don't want anybody to choke on that $50,000 price tag and think that your tax dollars are subsidizing the pool. They're not. Once again, we're accepting registrations if you want to go by the rec center, but all the money for the maintenance of the pool does come from registrations. It's self-funded. The high school turf fields, I know in Mr. Lent's publication this week, there was a note of East Hanover looking at some additional turf fields. The ones that have been funded previously are getting very close to opening, both Hanover Park High School and Whippany Park High School. So we're anxious to see which events will take place. It'll probably be track and field, but the turf fields are nearing completion. I know there's a lot of high school and town athletes that are very happy about that and anxious to get on the new field. In terms of the baseball Little League opening day, somebody mentioned, I think it may have been George, April 23rd, parade 9:30, right across the street at Veterans Field. So hopefully that's on everyone's calendar. Last and certainly not least, happy Easter to everyone who observes.
Very nice. Thank you, Bob. Very good. Tom, you wanted an
Thanks, Mayor.
opportunity? Go ahead.
You know what? Before the mayor's comments and maybe the closing of the meeting, I'd just like to say something to Carol Frimchenko. Carol, I have one suggestion for you as far as that box.
Yeah.
If you were to get an American-made pickup truck, an American-made pickup truck will let you in. That's what I wanted to say. Just an option.
That didn't come from the mayor.
I'll put it under consideration. And by the way, Mr. Mayor, I wanted to thank you very much for all your efforts with the post office. The only question that it begs is they've been paying the rent for the Whippany post office ever since it's been closed. That just blows the mind because they could have used that money to rent a different facility.
You know,
and then we might have had a post office.
Price of stamps will never go down.
It's terrible. I have to thank the administrator in one regard, who brought it to my attention that the federal government is paying lease money on that property. They've already entered into it. Now, you know, the point with federal government is it's a lease not unlike anybody else's lease. They have the option of getting that lease to a second party, and why aren't they? But instead, they're writing your check and my check to pay for the Whippany post office every month. But I will say this. In fairness to the regional directors that we met with, the Cedar Knolls area in particular, and I think portions of Whippany area, I've talked to a lot of neighbors, have realized a definite improvement in the delivery of their mail. I didn't say the quality of the mail, I didn't say whether it's accurate or not, I just said that when you get your neighbor's mail, it's a little earlier than not.
It's the neighbor right next door and not 3 blocks down,
You know?
right?
Yeah, so I know I got my mail sometimes around 6:30, 7 o'clock, I'm getting it at about 2:30 now.
Yeah.
So that's a start.
But the mailboxes will
If
probably
you,
help.
and thank you for bringing this up, because if you go online, folks, the administrator has posted the locations of all the letter boxes that the U.S. Post Office has in our town. One of them, by the way, you'll notice is on the front steps of the municipal building. But all the other locations of the letter boxes are now located, noted on our website if you want to check that. When they closed the Whippany Post Office, they did take away that letter box from that post office, but they gave us some other areas. We are encouraging them to enter into agreements with other retailers in the town, CVS, Quick Check, et cetera, to put letter boxes in those locations too. So we'll see what we do. But we're going to continue the process. Thanks, Carol. Any other comments from the committee at this point? No? Having said that, then motion to adjourn? All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you. Very good. That's a slap in the face. You know why it's a further slap in the face? Because 2 elected living joined them.
They got surprised by it. They didn't.
It's called solidarity. Hey, yeah, everything's okay.